Hi, welcome back to No Joke Survival.
Preparations for the average family.
I'm Jason Hill.
I'm James Blackburn. Welcome.
Welcome. And what we're talking about is electricity and the loss of it in case of a natural disaster or crisis.
And in the last segment, we talked about a lot of variety of things that can happen as a result of not having the electricity. But now I think we can focus a little bit more on some of the techniques that we can use for this sort of emergency situation.
Sure. How are you going to stay warm? How are you going to have communications? All those types of things are really important, especially to have them in place before something happens.
Exactly, which brings us to the first thing on the list that's the most common thing you get asked about not having electricity is the lack of light. Now, during the daytime, it doesn't matter that much, but when it gets night out and there's no electricity and no street lights, you'll find out what the true meaning of darkness is.
That's right.
And so, what are some of the techniques or tools that we can use that are non-electrical?
Well, there's the old standby candles. Having candles and matches, they burn for a long time. They give just enough light to where you can maneuver, but not sending out this huge signal. Flashlights and batteries. Having extra batteries for those flashlights because you don't know how long your electricity is going to be out.
Yes, that's very true. And another thing that is a common thing from the old pioneer days is the oil lantern.
Correct.
And I actually have one over here.
You want to grab that real quick?
I'll show it to you. Now these, this one's a little bit older and beaten, but the idea is solid that you can use this for light, provided you have the fuel for it.
Correct, and those work off of kerosene. There's also oil lamps that are similar. And you can go to your local department store and they sell these big bottles of the oil and it burns pretty clean and provides a lot of light.
Yep, and our pioneer ancestors used this technique almost exclusively.
Hey
guys. Looks like we're talking about light at the
Yes.
moment. Well, I have our special guest here with us, and Josh, you want to come on in? This is Josh. I'm gonna go keep working on the.
Come on over here, Josh.
So,
hey there.
I'm gonna be coming back here in just a few, so I'll leave the three of you alone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
Dani Lenski, our co-host.
Yes, round of applause.
Round of applause.
Yay.
So, welcome. Why don't you tell us your full name and the troop that you're with?
All right, well, my name is Joshua Leighninger, and I'm with Troop 166 in New Mexico.
Fantastic. And how do you like the Boy Scouts? It looks like you're really accomplished.
Well, I mean, Boy Scouts is a wonderful thing to get involved with. It helps you outdoors and indoors. It helps you get active with the people around you and be able to understand different things that the average person might not know.
That's right. And you do a lot of stuff with the community as well, which is another
Yes.
aspect that's fantastic. Now, we're discussing, before James tears apart everything here, but we're discussing some ways that with the lights, if the lights went out, some alternate light sources. But heat is going to be another big one.
All right.
What do you think might be some good ideas for generating heat if all of a sudden the electricity goes out?
All right, well, the first thing that I would recommend is a sleeping bag during the night, especially because of the fact that the degrees, especially in New Mexico or any other place that you are at, it will get colder and it will become a much greater disadvantage to many people.
Sure, the temperature can drop 30 degrees really quick here.
Oh yeah. And then the second thing that I would prefer is maybe a blanket as well. Those things will keep you real warm and real cozy during the night and even during the day if it's cold enough. During the winter especially, it's good to have some sort of a propane heater or something of the sort that you can also refuel.
That's right. And you want to be careful with fumes with some of these sources. So like if you have a barbecue grill, you don't want to just pull it in your house and light it up because those fumes can get to you. And then as far as the blankets, wool blankets are really good because they have a high insulation factor. And even if they get wet, they still insulate you. So,
definitely.
Now, we talked a little bit about light and heat. Is there anything in particular that you do around your house as far as preparations go in case something happened?
Well, the main thing that I would really recommend is to shoot wool socks in the drawers or whatever. Those will really help keep you warm, especially since a lot of the heat that you produce goes through your feet. It'll help keep you warmer during the night. Another thing that I would recommend is probably somewhere close to, once again, like a propane heater or something of the sort. That way, if the power does go out or anything of the sort, you can be able to have that and be able to stay warm throughout the house.
Do you have a fireplace in your home?
No, I do not.
No, a lot of people do, and that's a good way
Yeah.
to not only generate heat, but to be able to have a way of cooking and for purifying or boiling that water that you're going to need during a crisis situation. But you have to have the fuel for it. So sometime during, you got to stockpile that wood and go out there and
definitely.
and chop up the wood.
Definitely.
Now, communication is going to be another big factor, and so radios that are hand crank radios or solar.
Definitely.
Those are good. Do you have one at your house?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic.
Right.
I love it. Boy Scout motto is?
Be prepared.
Love it. And that's what this is all about, is having these items in your home all ready to go before something happens.
Yes,
so that
definitely.
you have a little bit of peace of mind. You're not panicking, you know.
Definitely expect the unexpected, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So what other items might you need if the power goes out? What else is it going to affect?
Well,
Your
trying
peace
to
of
remember. Yeah, peace of mind.
your peace of
definitely.
mind.
Yeah.
You know, we rely so heavily on light that having something, even as simple as a glow stick. Do you take glow sticks when you go
Yes,
camping?
I do.
They're a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah, they're real fun to play with, and they provide a source of light.
You know what's really cool is getting a camera with slow exposure and
Oh, yeah.
drawing words with them.
Yeah.
I do that on my camping trips.
Yeah, that's a good survival
You never
technique.
gets old, huh?
Yeah, and like you said, peace of mind. If you're in an emergency situation and you can have a moment where you can actually have a lighthearted, fun time, then it may actually make the situation a lot nicer.
That's right. You got to remain calm even in a stressful situation. Would you agree?
Definitely. Yes, I do agree.
All right. Now, we talked a little bit about flashlights, and one of the fun things that we're going to do in our next segment is we're going to have a competition, and
All
I'm
right.
hoping you're going to join in, but we're going to assemble a flashlight blindfolded.
All right.
And so we're
Sounds like
going to
fun.
assume that the lights went out and you had soap in your eyes from the shower,
Okay.
and then you stumble over to your closet where you know you have your stuff, and for some reason one of your family members disassembled them, you know, and that's going to...
Well, there you go.
Oh.
That's what I have.
Hey.
I have our beginner's box. How about you come over here?
Beginner's
All
box,
right.
beginner's box.
Beginner's box!
Sounds wonderful.
So, and normally the stuff in the beginner's box stays in the box, but this was just entertaining. So the beginner's box of this episode is to really show all the items that you need for when the power goes out, electricity, whatnot.
All right.
And so one thing, this is actually the last thing that I ended up putting in there. I saw these in the back and I thought, you know, we need some candles. So I'd say number one is candles. To really have, that way you can read your book, do whatever. My mom collects oil lamps, and so I mean we have so much light if the power ever goes out that it's, you don't ever need to worry. And she's gotten me into that habit of collecting
Having
as well.
something is better than nothing.
Exactly. And so next we have in these two Ziploc bags, as I know that we're going to get into a contest later. Pretend these are put together, but these are flashlights.
Those are disassembled
Actually,
flashlights.
You know what? There it is. Would you grab me that orange flashlight if you want to? Everyone should know what a flashlight looks like, but you know,
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
put
This is
together,
actually a symbol
but-
flashlight that works.
Yes, and there are
is-
different kinds of flashlights as well. And there it is. There it is. This one here. Do you want to show us what that guy is?
This is just a solar flashlight. It's got just a little solar panel built into it, and you leave this out in the sun all day long, and then...
Ideally, you don't want to do that, and then you're seeing stars when there's no light.
But yeah, these are really great because you can tie it onto your backpack or something if you're out hiking, or just set it on a windowsill. It'll charge, and then all night long you have some light. LEDs, they last a long time.
Yeah.
And you have a renewable source of energy as long as the sun's shining.
Yep. And if you don't have, you know, a solar powered and you have just regular flashlights, what you should always have in the box are batteries. Whatever batteries that your flashlight takes, you got to have it, because then you're just completely out of luck without any kind of battery.
That's right.
And so I think I'm going to, we have what looks like almost a little otter pop or something. A little
Glow stick.
Glow stick.
Glow
Yeah. I think I'm going to hand that to you.
Sounds
Our
fun.
favorites.
Yes, not just a party favor. But this guy, holy cow, is quite complicated. Excuse me. I'm gonna, I think, hand this over here.
Oh, this is just a portable solar panel. These are great because you can charge things, and they have all these little attachments. And so I actually have my ham radio, and I'm licensed, and so I have a form of communication if electricity or power goes out, or my cell phone. And so I can charge this with the attachments. I can also charge batteries as long as I have sun.
Yep.
And it's renewable, so I'll always have communication. I'll always have light from the charged batteries.
Yep.
And it's really lightweight. They're just a great thing to have.
Yeah. Well, and that's a really interesting point. You know, as you mentioned, you know, if you don't have a cell phone, whatnot, a lot of folks nowadays have, you know, a car charger for their cell phone, which is great. But if you're the one, you know, sorry sucker with the 200-year-old tree in your front yard that takes out your car, you might not have that car
Right,
battery
definitely.
to charge your cell
that's
phone
really
with.
neat.
So it's good to have these different items just
Yep.
in case.
That ham radio, is that ham and cheese?
But
This is just a ham radio. But stick with us. When we come back from the break, we're going to have our competition, and we're going to see whether James or our scout are going to assemble this flashlight the quickest. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have them blindfolded.
Ready for this. Should get a timer
Better watch
for
out.
this.